On today's canvas project, I'll be painting, stenciling, and decoupaging. I'm starting out by tearing some pieces of my butterfly book paper and my music papers in some interesting shapes. And using a little bit of watered down Mod Podge, I'm going to decoupage those on. Once everything's applied, I'm going to go all over with the side of my brush and just tap all over to make sure that I've got a nice little texture on the whole thing. I'm applying some off-white paint all over to push everything into the background and bring it all together with my bath sponge. And then I'll use a paper towel to go in and remove some of that paint here and there so you can see my papers coming through. I'm starting out with some bright yellow, and I want to make a bright green and then a darker yellow. So just mixing those up first. And then I'll put a little bit of the cobalt blue out. I'm going to dip my chip brush into the water first, then into my paints. Put it in a few random places on my canvas, and then dab it with my paper towel. I'll repeat this process with my other colors, and then I'll come in with a paper towel or a baby wipe and remove and add until I'm satisfied with it. Now is what I'm going to go in with my baby wipe and remove some of that paint so that you can see my background papers through a little bit more here and there. Going in with my little mandala stencil, my dark gray, and my dauber, and adding just a few random spots around my canvas. Once that's dry, I'm going to come in with my baby wipe and my off-white and just push everything back a little bit and bring it all together. With my stencil lined up, I'm pouncing on some dark green with my dauber. And then I'll use my liner brush to go in and make all my stencil connections. Putting out a little bit of off-white, adding some green to it, and then I'll add a little bit of yellow to it to warm it up a little bit. And this is what I will use to paint in my veins on my leaves. I've put out some cobalt blue and some Caribbean onto my palette, and I'm going to start with the cobalt and pounce all over my flowers. And then I'm going to take my dauber out of my clothespin, put a large pom-pom in, get a little bit of that Caribbean on it, work off some of the paint, and then go in and apply it. And then I'll go back and forth between the cobalt and the Caribbean until I get the look I want. I've decided where I want my butterfly, and I'm now going to go in with my dark gray and some of my cobalt blue, starting around my edges and then coming in to fill in the center, and then coming in with my Caribbean highlights here and there. After my flowers dried, I decided I wanted them to have a little bit more cobalt, so I'm adding that in now. Going back to my butterfly now, I'm using my detail on top of my base and just using my dark gray to put in the antennae and all the detail. Going in with my liner brush to make those stencil connections. Lining up my stencil again so I can go in with my little pom-pom and add just a little bit of paint here and there on top of the detail so it doesn't look like it's just sitting on top. I wanted to find my edge a little bit more, so I'm going around with my liner brush on that outer edge, and then I'm smushing it with my finger so that it's not just a perfect straight line. It looks, I think, a little more painterly, maybe is the word I'm looking for. Maybe? No? I have no idea why my lighting is so different on this track, but I kind of like it. It's very bright. Anyways, now I'm using my handy dandy toothpick to add in the dots to my butterfly. Hey, thanks for joining me today. If this is your kind of video, please hit that like button and subscribe. Hope you'll join me again soon.